So we do not remember back in the 360 PS3 era and before, games used to have way shorter development times. There were games that, took very short amount of time to create. It wasn't, well, oh yeah, we're gonna, if you want to play this game, you have to wait a decade to play this game. Okay, for example, for Bethesda, they released two Fallout games and an Elder Scrolls game. And then, oh yeah, Bethesda gave us like one game and the generation after. I get the game had evergreen success, but that's all because people liked the game and also because there was no new games coming out. Of course, I think this current generation of gaming is the biggest victim of this. We're gonna, people will go wait like 5 or 6 years for a game only for it to be a pile of doo doo or a live action, no, not live service, bore fest like Suicide Squad, then yeah, I think people have every right to be angry about modern gaming. But even Nintendo is saying that this is a bad thing. They said it's inedible in a recent interview, but they said, but what's some called inedible is simply just a choice, and that's one data to an entire industry as well. Of course, there could be games that could take a long time to make. There was always been games that took a long time to make. For example, Duke Nukem Forever was an example of a game that took like a decade to make, and it was still a pile of doo-doo. Don't get me wrong, but the game took a decade to make. Or a game like, you know, but yeah, but those types of games will always exist. It's inedible. But Nintendo is just saying this is a choice. Okay, there's a solution for inedible link feeding development as well. Incorporates more already established development teams to work on the game. As Microsoft could, they say we could get worse. Yeah, I did not cover the whole Microsoft stuff because Sony and Microsoft are struggling. I think this is to no one's surprise. Even Sony is struggling, and Sony's making less profit than Microsoft as well. Okay, because Microsoft still makes a lot of profit off of the Game Pass thing, and Sony, they have nothing coming out this year. Both companies are struggling. The only one that isn't struggling is Nintendo. Okay, was also for Bethesda and Western Note Alpha Dog and the games closed some other studios, including the developers of Hi-Fi Rush. You know, you know. Sometimes it works out like Breath of the Wild could be a massively popular game. Yeah, Breath of the Wild is a game that took like 5. It was started out to 2012, it came out in 2017. Again, Breath of the Wild initially started out as like a Twilight Princess remake. No, not remake, sequel. That's what it was initially going to be, but I think they've already said they've canceled that game and they changed it to what Breath of the Wild is supposed to be. Okay, as well. And those games do take a while to make because it's a massive game. Okay, as well, but the media, we better media as they want, obsessed with graphics and stuff. That we need to make our games, look as photorealistic as possible. you know, but brag about how many animators they have something to wear sports sims, as well, but again, but basically, you know, I do agree that long game development is a danger to the entire industry. Okay, there was no reason that games like for example, what to say, okay, Bioshock was an important franchise in the 360 PS3 era. We had three games, PS4 PS5 era 0. Okay, Xbox One Xbox Series X era 0. Okay, Borderlands series, you had three games in the 360 PS3 era. Oh, one game in the PS4 Xbox One era, 0 in the PS5 Series X era. Okay, you know, this is a problem in the gaming. Okay, as well. I know they work more than just one franchise. Far Cry is of course one example where it hasn't been that way. You got like three Far Cry games in that last generation or Assassin's Creed. But the problem is they always, work on these massive franchises and and then you have to wait a long time for a game and the game still ends up being a massive disappointment. I think that's what's really killing gaming. Okay, I think that's really killing gaming because the PS4, Xbox One era, there have been a lot of disappointing games. Like the amount of games that were considered disappointing were a massive amount. Okay, a massive amount. Okay, games that everyone was like hyped about, but then the games came out buggy and glitchy. This is something that the gaming industry just cannot do. I do agree with the way the game is yelled, so the game doesn't come out glitchy and bugged. For example, we want to avoid games like Sonic 06 from releasing. Okay, like Tears of the Game beat the radio because they knew there was probably a lot of glitches and bugs that they had to fix. So the game came out in 2023 instead of 2022. No, it was not because of Elden Ring. Elden Ring is not the reason why Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom was delayed. Okay, they delayed the game so the game came out glitchless and bugless. Okay, obviously Nintendo they want to have a certain quality to the games, but yeah, that's about this video here. Goodbye.